I want to speak to you about fear and worry. It's been some years that I've had problems and struggles with sleeping at night. Sometimes, depending on what I'd go through during the day or even in the season I was in, I wouldn't even want to go to bed in the evening because I knew I'd sleep maybe an hour and then I'm going to be fighting to wanting to sleep the rest of the night. And sometimes I recall that 4 hours of sleep was a good night of sleep. And I kept praying and I said, God, I just don't think this is what you have us. I don't think this is what you have designed us to be. But I don't know. I've tried some sleeping formulas and stuff, medication. That didn't last very long at all. I saw that this is not what I want. This is not what I'm after. And I thought, well, God, you can lead me somewhere to understanding what my problem is. What is causing me not to sleep at night? Or what is the issue? And God started working in me, and I marvel at when you ask the Lord to show you if there's a problem, show you what it is, He's always faithful. He's always faithful. He will always show you what the problem is. Sometimes He doesn't do it right away, but all at once He removes you from it a little bit and you look back and all at once you see clearly. And this is how it works. Now, what I want to speak about here is several verses I would like to speak about. One of them is in Revelation 21, verse 8. It says, and this is what got my attention, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and the murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. I want to look at the first part of this. Notice the category of people that will not be in heaven. Here it says the first ones, and normally the way the Bible sets things out and the way God has set things out, it's almost like the worst is mentioned first and then it draws down. Here it says the fearful and unbelieving in the same category and the abominable. Now we know that being abominable would be a very degraded spiritual condition or even a human condition. Murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and liars. Those we understand the category is really, really wicked. But why God would put this in the beginning and says the fearful and unbelieving, and God started dealing with me concerning fearfulness. So I noticed at times when I lay there at night, couldn't sleep, my mind was surrounded with things that I feared. Things that I went through, things that maybe happened on the surface, or things that general happenings, or things maybe against me, or valleys to walk through. And I started laying there and just fearing at night. It was like a roar of a lion that roared, and it kept me awake and not worry about things. I also noticed, and I'm aware that when you're sleeping at night, your brain is not fully functioning. So because you go to sleep, your brain actually shuts down in the capacity of thinking. Now, it doesn't shut down completely or you would stop breathing and everything. But in the thinking patterns, they shut down so you can sleep. Well, so I noticed that also that at nighttime when you wake up, things look a lot worse. If you're fearful about a problem or a struggle or something that you're confronting, whether it's a job, whether it's a community issue, whether it's a marriage issue, whether it's a personal issue, whether it's a financial issue, whatever it is, at nighttime when your brain is not as alert, it's shut down, things look a lot more severe. And so it works just against you. And then God started speaking to me about being fearful. And the worst time to have it is at night, because it'll keep you from sleeping. And I saw this and I thought, how does this compute to my thinking patterns? Is this a problem? And I noticed this is a problem. And I'm a businessman. I've been a pastor for 34 years, and I've got a lot of things going. And there's times when we try to work out problems at nighttime, trying to make our schedule for the next day, things that bother us more than other things and so forth. And I notice it is just the wrong time to do it, and it keeps me awake. So I came to a place where I repented of being fearful. I simply repented. I said, God, this is not right. It's not right for me to be fearful, but I will now believe you. I will believe you, and I will rest until my time is to get up in the morning, and when I get up, then can I think about those things? I will, but I will not worry. I also noticed in that time for years that when the sun comes up, it seems the things that bothered you at night are not there anymore. And I noticed it's something that it almost seems that it's instilled by Satan. It's unbelieving. It's the problem of not having a believing heart. And it's being fearful. We don't believe God. We don't have faith in Him. We don't want to trust Him. We want to take things in our own hands. And again, I'd like to say that sometimes there's people that might think, well, you have no idea what I go through. I don't put myself in any different category as amongst the worst that have gone through things, because I know that category of where I walked. And I'm one of those people that has endured a tremendous amount. And all the things that I've accomplished in life have brought a lot of worry to me if I would allow it. And so I saw this is a sin. It has to be repented of. And I repented of it. And at nights, my sleep is better. I notice my sleep is actually a lot better. If I wake up at nighttime for some reason, I don't worry. I will refuse to worry. I will refuse to let bothersome things occupy my mind. I will keep my mind filled with good things. I'll read the Word. I'll read some things. But I will absolutely not worry at night. I will not worry in the daytime either. I believe that God delivered me from that. There is something that I have to raise up a standard that I will not go this route. I will not have this worry in my heart. I will not allow it in my mind, because it's a sin. It really is. If it will keep you from getting to heaven, I think it's a lot worse than we think. It says the fearful and the unbelieving. Now there's some more things. In Mark chapter 4, verse 40, it says, and he said unto them, why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? This is speaking about when the waves were coming. We would say that there is every legitimate reason that I can have when it looks like the boat I'm in is actually sinking. And the words that Jesus said, when he came to him, why are you so fearful? Why are you fearing waves? Why are you so fearful? Why? How is it that you have no faith? You see, Jesus somehow, he got a hold of the power of faith. He got a hold of that power. In fact, I wrote a book on it, Miracle of Faith. I wrote a book on it because it was a concern in my heart that many people go through life and miss the whole point of faith. We think of it being something that is unattainable, that we can't have. It is something that only the most spiritual people of 100 years ago might have had. So I wrote a book on that. But it is really something that should grab us. The fearful and unbelieving will have their part in the lake of fire. That tells you that satanic, how should I call this, attacks that come against the saints are brought so that it puts you in a place that you do not want to have faith in God. What it does, it wrecks faith. It pulls it away from you because it tempts you to take things in your own hands. It makes you think that you're responsible to do this with your own manipulation or however it's done. No, we are to have faith in God. I mean, think of this boat now on the Sea of Galilee out about 3.5 miles in the middle of the sea. And there it is. And a storm is big. It's the middle of the night and it's awful. And it looks like they're going to die. And Jesus doesn't come out and say, oh, I feel so bad for you. Puts his arm around them and says, oh, I pity you so much that you've been going through this. That's the modern day approach. He said, why are you fearful? Why have you no faith? You know, that's something that we should examine our own lives about. What kind of faith do we have? Do we have faith, the type that overcomes these kinds of obstacles? Even when waves, legitimate waves in life, come against you, and it looks like you're going to drown, you're going to go down, you're never going to make it. And Jesus comes to them in a word. Why do you not have faith? Rather than, you know, in our modern day world, it's, oh, we grab each other and we put our arms around each other and we show all kinds of pity for them and, oh, we just wish they wouldn't have to go through this. Jesus never said that. Jesus said, why have you no faith? He was wondering, why is it that you don't have faith? Are the waves bigger than I? See, when Jesus came walking, he looked like a ghost. And when you go through a lot of things in the middle of maybe a hard, difficult time, Jesus can actually look like a ghost. And that will make the waves look much taller. And in the middle of waves, do you find Jesus? And I think that when we talk about worry and fear and worry, is can you find Jesus in the picture? I think that's where our hope is. But when Jesus, when he came to that situation, and it didn't take very long, he rebuked the winds, and then the waves went away. He did not rebuke the waves, he rebuked the winds. We like to work on the waves, but he worked on the winds. And he rebuked the winds, and the waves ceased. I would like to take this into our personal life and things that you and I go through in life, sometimes that look like they're designed to destroy us. And we speculate with thoughts that this is designed to destroy me. This is going to take me down. Those are high waves that look high. My thing is, can you find Jesus? Notice also, this was completely dark. It was in the middle of the night. And when there was wind and the way it was blowing and everything, there was probably clouds. So there's probably no light. It was probably completely dark. And in the middle of your darkness, in the middle of the highest waves, can you find Jesus? He's proven to be there. He was there literally in a sea. And if he was there in a sea, and you also know that he watches the sparrow, and if he has his eye on the sparrow, certainly has his eye on us as well. Can't you find Jesus? Can you find Jesus? And the challenge that he will have for us at that time is, why don't you have faith? Have faith in me. I will take care of this situation. Just trust me. Just trust me. I want to be trusted. I'm your friend. I'm your redeemer. I bought you. You're mine. Don't fear. Don't be fearful. Don't be unbelieving. There's some other verses. 1 John chapter 4, verse 18. There is no fear in love. There is no fear in love. Perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. And that is a mystery verse that I have no time to speak much about it today, but I would like to have a whole message on that soon concerning perfect love. We think of perfect love. We see it here several times, that perfect love casts out fear. So if you have fear in your heart, and how will you overcome it? According to this, there is a perfect love. And when you look at it, the Greek word for it is agape. So it's the agape love. It's the God love. If you have the perfect love for God, it throws out fear in your life. And see, when we look at that, we look at maybe perhaps you've got children that are not turning out right. Perhaps you've got other concerns, family concerns, financial concerns, whatever it is, and it's becoming a real big obstacle, and it's causing you to just fear and clench your hands. The Bible says perfect love will cast that out. And my question is as long as that's not cast out, can there be freedom over the issue? Probably not. So the answer is to somehow find perfect love, and that perfect love is simply this. It is my love for God. Doesn't mean to go back down and kneel beside your chair and ask God, to come back in your life. And no, that's not necessary. You're probably doing that already. That's not what it's asking for. It is asking for trust. You remember when you found Jesus? Remember there was an absolute unbetrayable trust that was in you? You could trust him for everything. It didn't matter what you faced. It was such a lively hope. That's perfect love. Your perfect love for God. Perfect love is untainted love. It's so perfect that it cannot be touched with anything, because of maybe a deep trial will not cause you to not love God more, or it will not cause you to walk away from God, but it'll have you cling to him. Perfect love casts out fear. So when you're at nighttime, when you can't sleep, you're laying there, and there's something that wants to bother you, maybe the roaring lion, and you hear the roar and the sounds and all kinds of imagination, and you think of your friends turning against you and this whole thing. You know, according to the Bible, perfect love casts that all out. And that perfect love is, like this. God, whatever comes my way, I love you from my heart, and I'm committed to love you because you have loved me first. You've made available this love that I have in my heart for you, and I'm going to love for you before anything else out there. That's perfect love. It can't be tainted. You see, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness. All these things shall be added unto you. My love is perfect toward him. It cannot be tainted by worry. I will love you, God. I will love you, if it costs me all I have. If it causes my life, if it takes my life from me, I will still love you, and I will love you. Perfect love. You see, when you're in that surrendered mode of being, all at once fear is gone. It's gone. What about if my partner wants to leave me? My partner this, my partner there. Perfect love casts out fear. The whole thing is, fear will not help you. It will not help you one bit. It'll destroy you. It's destructive. So the alternatives that we have to fear is only one thing. We have to go to the remedy of it, and that is perfect love. The Bible gives no other remedy that I know of except love. Perfect love casts out fear. Now think of that. Since fear won't help you anyways, it will not help you overcome. It will just cause you to do some things perhaps that are not convenient or even make situations worse. Why not just trust God with all your heart and leave it over to God and love God? Because that's your number one purpose in life anyways. There's another verse in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but power and what? Of love. Here comes the word again. And a sound mind. He's not given us the spirit of fear, but the power to love. The spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Our mind is sound. He's given us the power to love. And if he's given you the power to love, and he's given me the power to love, oh my God, let's exercise that. Let's love. Let's love. Sometimes we might take our love and give it out to the most unlovable situation that we can. And what it does, it casts out fear. Someone that you fear today, someone that you have fear problems with that person, can you give him the best of your love? Just give from your heart something, and it casts out that fear. That is, as simple as it works, it really works. Perfect love casts out fear.